Welcome back, deep divers.
Today we're diving into something a little different.
Halloween desserts.
Okay.
And I know what you're thinking. Oh, this is just going to be a, like a
Yeah.
recipe show.
Right.
But we're going deeper than that.
Okay.
Using this article we found called 9 Best Halloween Desserts for an Easy Spooky Treat.
Okay.
And we're going to unpack some of the trends and some of the maybe even psychology behind the choices
Interesting. Oh, yeah.
that go into not just Halloween desserts, but really what this article is showing us.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I'm intrigued. Let's do it.
yeah, so they start off this article with classic Halloween desserts.
Okay.
And I thought it was really interesting. Like, one of the things that stood out to me immediately was that they don't just call it, here's a spiderweb cake. They call it a show-stopping dessert.
Oh, wow.
Like, they really emphasize the impact that it makes.
Interesting. Okay. And it's really interesting because they connect that showmanship to a technique.
Okay.
The layering technique.
Yeah.
And they specifically say this about the pumpkin layer cake.
Yeah.
But it's like they even suggest using like a cream cheese frosting to contrast the spices.
It's about, creating a multi-sensory experience.
Yeah. And that makes me think of like, we curate our Instagram feeds.
Totally.
Now we're kind of curating like these dessert tables.
Yes.
Where it's like the centerpiece.
It's so true.
Of our style.
Like, it's that whole shift from like store-bought costumes to like the elaborate DIY creations. Like, people want to put their own personal stamp on things.
Especially when it's something like homemade Halloween.
A Halloween dessert.
Yeah, it's supposed to be homemade.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And this whole personalization thing came up over and over again.
And especially in this section about unique Halloween confections.
Oh, yeah?
Where they talk about like homemade peanut butter cups instead of just like grabbing a bag of Reese's.
Yeah.
They're encouraging you to use like higher quality ingredients.
Right.
And put your own spin on it. Like they even say things like,
Add sea salt or caramel.
Wow. It's true. It's like taking something classic and you're making it your own.
Elevating it.
Yeah. There's that authenticity to it.
Yes. And it's not even just the ingredients. It's the presentation.
Right.
Like, remember how they talked about using a hollowed out pumpkin?
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
To serve the pumpkin dip in?
Oh, that's so extra. I love it.
I know. It's all of the visual impact.
Yes.
Like, we're not just eating. We're creating an experience.
Totally.
Totally. Okay, but let's talk about these flavor trends for a second.
Okay.
Because I was really drawn to this section about the savory-sweet combinations.
Yeah.
Because I was like...
Savory and sweet, huh? For Halloween.
That feels so, like, unexpected for Halloween.
Okay.
But I think our palates are just more...
sophisticated these days.
Okay.
We're looking for complex flavor profiles.
So it's not just all about pumpkin spice anymore.
Well, I mean...
I don't know. I feel like pumpkin spice is still king, but...
They mention things like cardamom and star anise, like even saffron.
Really?
Yeah, like imagine like a pumpkin spice cake, but with like a hint of chili powder.
Oh, wow.
Or like flaky sea salt on top.
Interesting.
Like pushing those boundaries a little.
Okay.
It's like Halloween's the one time a year we can kind of go crazy.
That's true.
Like could be a little adventurous.
It's playful, right?
Yeah.
Like you can kind of bend the rules a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not just the flavors, right?
Yeah.
It's like you said, the whole experience, how you present it, what you pair it with.
Oh, they even had a whole section on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Halloween dessert pairings, perfect matches for your festive treats.
Right. All right.
Like they
did their research.
They did. They thought of everything.
Right.
But I'm curious. Like we've been talking about this evolution of Halloween desserts, right? Like the flavors, the presentation, even like what we pair them with. What does that say about like food in general?
Yeah, of like, are we just seeing a Halloween
microcosm of like
larger trends?
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a really good question.
That we should probably look into.
Yeah.
Okay, deep divers, we're going to take a quick break.
But when we come back, we're going to continue our deep dive into the world of Halloween desserts.
And all of the really fascinating cultural insights that they reveal.
So stay tuned.
Welcome back, deep divers.
Yeah.
We're back talking Halloween desserts.
Back at it again.
And I think before the break, we were really starting to see how like these Halloween desserts are kind of a
way to like look at larger
like trends in food.
Yeah. And how we approach food.
And how we approach like experiences.
Yes.
Like, It's interesting how Halloween, because it's so theatrical
Yeah.
and playful.
Yeah.
It's like we allow ourselves to kind of explore
Yes.
these trends in ways that we might not at other times of year.
It's true. Like, it's like this,
Testing ground for like culinary
yeah.
creativity.
Totally.
But it's not all just about like pushing boundaries, right?
Right.
Because there were a couple sections in here about like cooking with kids.
Yeah.
And
hosting a dessert party.
yes. Like that whole
It's about tradition, too.
it is about tradition.
Yeah.
And it's about like togetherness.
Yeah, and I think in a world that's so fast-paced right now
Totally.
and like so digital, it's like these traditions offer us like a way to slow down and like connect.
100%.
Yeah.
And they talk about that.
Yeah.
Like creating memories.
Yes.
Like they even suggest
telling stories while you're baking or playing spooky music.
oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it's like this whole
Creating that atmosphere.
yes, sensory experience.
Yes. I love that.
That goes beyond just, the actual baking.
Exactly. And it goes back to what we were talking about before, like experience-driven
Yes.
consumption, It's not enough to just eat a cookie.
Right.
You got to
It's got to be Instagrammable.
it's got to be Instagrammable. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's funny how like
It's true.
even like something as simple as like baking with your kids
Yeah,
is now influenced by all these like trends and stuff.
totally.
But, that's culture, right?
It is.
It's constantly like absorbing and shifting. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go back to these tips for hosting a spooktacular Halloween dessert party.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I love how they like
Break it down step by step
okay.
for you,
Yeah.
from the menu planning to the setting the mood.
And I thought it was really interesting how much they emphasized like balance, and like inclusivity, like having options for different
Dietary needs.
dietary needs and like
Preferences.
preferences.
Like maybe you have gluten-free stuff.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And it's just about being mindful and making sure that everybody feels
Yeah.
welcome.
And I love how they talk about like, making it interactive, like have a contest or
Right.
like pumpkin carving
It's all about get everyone involved.
participation, not just
Yeah.
eating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right?
Got to have the right lighting.
The music.
My decorations.
It's like we're all event planners now,
I know.
which is it's kind of fun, but also
It's a lot.
it's a lot.
It is a lot. But they do talk about that, like
How to do all of this
Yeah.
and keep it,
keep it simple.
simple.
Like there's our whole section on hacks.
The hacks, yes.
Hacks.
And I feel like that's really a response to
Our busy.
our crazy, busy lives.
Yeah.
Where we want to have it all.
Right.
We want delicious. We want beautiful.
They don't have to be easy.
But easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think that like do you think those hacks?
Like take away from the creativity at all?
That's a good question.
Or do they free you up, to focus on
That's a really good question.
like the bigger picture?
Like what's more important? Is it like, making it from scratch?
Right.
Or is it just the fact that you're creating something and enjoying it and
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's more about like
maybe that pre-made cookie dough is just your
it's your starting point.
starting point.
Yeah.
And it's what you do with it.
Exactly.
It's the personal touches.
Special.
Yes. Exactly.
I love that.
Which I think that's really what this whole thing is about, right? Like
Yes.
it's not about, being perfect or, doing it the right way. It's just about
It's about the joy.
it's about the joy
And the connections.
and the connection.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
deep divers.
We're going to come back
For one last
a little bit
okay.
to wrap all this up.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned
All right, deep divers, we are back.
for our final wrap up
Okay.
of Halloween desserts.
I have to say, I thought this was going to be much more simple.
Than it has turned out to be.
Right.
Like,
Even
weird
really, it's more than just like,
Yes.
here's a recipe.
Totally. Like what has surprised you the most about this?
I think it's really interesting, this whole balance between tradition and innovation.
Yes.
Like we still love those classic things,
Yeah.
but we're putting a new spin on them.
Yeah, like those homemade peanut butter cups.
Yeah, exactly.
But with sea salt.
Like we're honoring the classic,
Yes.
but we're also acknowledging like our tastes have changed.
Yeah, true.
You know,
Yeah, and
like we're more open to like different flavors and stuff,
Yeah,
like
no.
global flavors.
Yes.
This is not just about,
And you can't forget social media.
oh my gosh, yes. It's not even enough
That plays such a huge role.
to just taste good anymore.
Yeah.
It's gotta look good too.
It's got to be visually appealing. It's got to be shareable.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like those presentation hacks.
The hacks.
Yeah, the whole thing about like
Yeah.
how you arrange things, like
We've all become like food stylists
Yeah.
in a way,
it's true.
which is kind of fun.
It is fun, but
Oh,
also
a lot.
a lo-
You know.
but I do think it's more than just vanity, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like there is a real
It's about connecting with people.
yes.
Yeah.
It's like a way to
Sharing your creation.
yes.
Yeah.
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 It's like food is
It's more than just fuel, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's a way to communicate.
yes.
Yeah.
And
That's
like
Part of our culture.
It's part of our culture, exactly.
and I think what's interesting is like
Yeah.
this whole thing we've been talking about.
Yeah.
This is not just a Halloween thing.
Right.
This is like you see this everywhere.
Totally. It's like Halloween just gives us permission.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it gives us permission to just go for it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So as we kind of
Wrap up.
wrap up here,
Yeah.
what's like the
One thing you want people to take away.
I just I hope people will kind of look at Halloween desserts
Yeah.
and just food in general.
Like a new perspective, you know?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Yes.
Have fun with it, you know?
Yeah, I love that.
Connect with people, yeah.
That's beautiful.
I love that. You know, it's funny, there's that old saying like,
Life is short. Eat dessert first.
Right.
But I almost feel like in this case, it's like,
yeah,
life is short. Make it your way.
make it your way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And share it.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
So deep divers, that is going to do it for this deep dive.
Thank you so much for being here with us.
This was fun.
And we'll
Yeah.
see you next time.
Bye, everyone.